Emma Furlong's high school career was ending the same way it began, being allegedly stalked by fellow classmate Jay Yen Ding.
All I wanted was for it to stop.
Emma was under the impression Jay had moved back to China and was out of her life forever.
What? I can't even read it. It's so disturbing.
But after a new barrage of emails and social media posts, she would soon learn Jay was closer than anyone could have imagined.
It turns out I'd been receiving a bunch of different messages from a bunch of aliases over email, Facebook.
When we found out he had been stalking her just covertly using aliases, we were really frightened.
Jay had moved, not to China, but to Illinois, and then to Rochester, New York, where he was attending college.
My name is Jay Ding. I'm gifted in math, science, and music. I target to become an anesthesiologist, a radiologist, or a pathologist. I have developed an idea to reverse global warming. Please join hands with me in this exciting journey. I would so appreciate your support.
Seemed like Jay's studies weren't taking up all of his time.
Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of messages of disturbing content, graphic sexual depictions of us together. The delusions he has are of a volatile nature. They're violent, they're aggressive, they're disturbing thoughts to read.
Disturbing thoughts like another boy secretly shot video of you having sex with him, admitting, "If I videotaped us, you can be sure that I would only show any videos to our children." Also saying, "One day I found myself tied to the 4 posters of your bed for punishment." And describing what he wished he could have stopped. "The biggest misfortunes that hurt me happened because of 2 guys, and to a smaller degree, your proms and homecomings. I can't get over it. Too bad I wasn't able to prevent it from happening." Once again, Emma files a police report, this time accusing Jay of intimidation, stalking, and internet harassment. But her family was left feeling alone in the fight.
No one seemed to really be taking it seriously.
Except that is for one person, Detective Todd Crum.
Detective, would you say this is the worst stalking case you've seen?
Absolutely. For sure it is. Part that bothered me was the sexual nature of it and just the talk of violence, suicide. He would find out intimate details about her life and try to interject himself in those. He's making up these stories in his mind as if they're having a relationship.
Crum decides to investigate.
Tell us what you can about the conversations you've had with Mr. Ding.
He was very jittery on the phone, very nervous, admitted to the contacts. I reminded him about the 2010 case where he had signed a contract with the school that he was to have no contact with her. He acknowledged that, but said, was afraid of the penalties. And it just struck me as odd, as if he was sorting out in his mind, is it worth it?
Turns out this wasn't the first time Jay made cops' radar. When he was 17, police recalled when Jay was found going door to door looking for a girl he knew from karate class, but hadn't seen in a year. The girl told police the situation creeped her out and wanted no further contact with him. In yet another attempt to stop Jay, Emma gets a personal protection order, or PPO. Jay, who's now in school in Missouri, violates it the next month when he sends a sexually explicit letter to her house. He then quickly writes an email to Emma's father. Subject line, "Long live the Thermal King." It stated in part, before knowing that a restraining order was placed, a letter was sent in the mail, addressed privately to Emma in order to establish friendship. It provided instructions for masturbation with a condom and magic sand filling. I had hoped that this would cause Emma to neglect her boyfriend. I find these things disturbing and hope that you secure that letter and keep it away from Emma before it gets me into legal trouble. The very next day, Jay's mother writes her own email to Mike, apologizing for her son's behavior, stating in part, "I am deeply sorry for all the irrational behavior of my son toward Emma. I did not know he still was obsessed with Emma. Now that I know, I will do all that is in my power to help Emma and your family. My son is very naive. Please do be patient with him and try to forgive him." Reportedly, a month later, Jay calls Emma at 1 a.m. and describes a sexual scenario involving Jesus.
She told him, "You understand you are violating your personal protection order." And his response was, "I don't care."
After almost 4 long years, Jay is finally charged with aggravated stalking. Case closed? Not even close. Coming up.
I'm sorry I've been torturing you with all these messages.
Jay was back.
To know that this was happening again, but it really hit me that this wasn't ever going to stop.